We had large placards of just the Title 10, which is the law that our school boards are sworn to uphold. And so that was the real tragedy of it all. The real story is not about the Sunday school teacher that got arrested. The real story is about Kim Faria, who shuts down meetings and runs away. And I really just honestly can't imagine it. There's video footage out there. My daughter took some, but I was really surprised that they arrested me. They seemed to be detaining David Kiley as the ringleader, but we were beyond the police officers. And I just kept saying, they know they're not going to arrest us. They know that this is policy, because I really, quite frankly, did not think that the police were this, misinformed about what was going on.
Right,
and I
like
said,
you said,
let's
it's
just
policy.
sit down. They're certainly not.
It's policy. It's not law, and they mentioned that in the article. My co-host here, Howie Carr, wants to ask you a question. Go ahead, Howie.
What were you charged with?
Disorderly conduct. That's pretty much what they do when there isn't anything. Yeah, and actually, there's video footage. I was actually, there was a woman in the lobby, and I was speaking with her about the kids, and I, explained to her that, I love theater, that this is going to be so educational. The kids are going to advocate for their bands, and I'm going to get to hear the kids speak. And I thought this might be interesting, like they take their masks down, because as an actor and as an educator, this is how we communicate. If you're just saying, just wear the mask, you really don't know much about early childhood education in these formative years, and this injury that's really being caused by ridiculousness. We can't understand it.
In Danville earlier this week, Danville, New Hampshire, they had the same situation. A bunch of people came in, they weren't wearing masks, and three of the members of the school board ran away. And now you're saying this happened.
I believe it was that Kim Faria again, that she got up and left. So really,
this was the same. This was the same group, basically. Okay, some of these members that ran away, I guess on Monday night or Tuesday night, they were also on the other board. So this was like a continuation of the first event.
Yeah, which that's weird too, isn't it? You're on a school board and you're a selectman, and I really don't understand.
I was on the Wellesley Town meeting for 6 years, and I never ran out once, let alone twice. Sometimes I just cut the meetings altogether, but I never ran away from anybody. That is pretty weird.
Yeah, and we're using our words. You know what I mean? You're trying to cover our faces. It's getting ridiculous. And, we're just playing catch up here, because the next thing they're going to roll out is the medicinal drug trials on the kids and force a vaccine or withhold education. And really, Howie, it really illustrates the much bigger problem that we don't all agree, and we need more choice in education. If you want your kid to go to that school with masks and all that, great. Spend your voucher there. But we cannot have this. We don't all agree. Teachers aren't innovating. Forget about our choice in education. What about a teacher's choice in where she wants to teach and what she's good at? She's forced to take kids that she knows she can't meet their needs. It's tragic. These women and men are my friends. And they're gagged. They can't speak for fear of jeopardizing their career, which tells you what all of that is all about.
There's a story today
that has gone on these years.
New York Magazine had a story today, 2 studies out of California, clinical studies. Pediatric COVID-19 hospitalizations may have been grossly inflated by 40%. 40%.
Right.
And I put this on Howie's homework if you want to check it out. There's a link to the story. And what they're saying is these researchers in California are saying this is the way it's going to be across the country. And it very well may be that the COVID hospitalizations were inflated by 40-50% for adults too, not only in children. But in the case you're talking about here, the teachers unions use these ridiculous numbers to keep the schools closed. And they want to keep it closed next year in some of these communities, don't they?
Yeah, I don't understand, all of this, Harley. Why teachers need a union? Okay, what is that all about? Why? I really don't understand all of this, and it's gone on for so many years, and it will continue to happen, as I said, until we have choice in education. And it's not going to happen until the parents are informed, and media is just useless as far as this goes. So, I homeschooled years ago, and when you find out what's not in the curriculum. I mean, I'm sure they have to sterilize it. Who knows what happens? But it's just when you really, I think the Constitution is beautiful, and I think they're afraid of it because it will light you up when you really understand a liberated man and what is being done here and what this great experiment is. That's so inspiring. And it's really just, the band's begging for band money the other night or whatever they were there all about, fighting for something that they shouldn't even have to fight for. It's like the fact that we don't suspend our civil liberties, and how did that happen?
Can you recall these members of the school committee or whoever is on these two boards that
no,
acted so ridiculously this week?
Well, I know Kim Faria is one on the school board, and she's also over in Sandown, I believe it's Danville, sorry. So yeah, that's all I really know. I have 5 grandchildren that are in 4 different districts in the area, and back in the spring, I was standing on the side of the road with a sign, as the parents are dropping their kids off and that sort of thing, with a sign, with my street theater sign, Howard, because nobody cares. Nobody really cares. These bureaucracies have run amok. They're self-preserving and self-serving, and nobody who really wants to educate kids thinks that the system is designed to do that. It's just not even the model for it. We can't innovate. I could go on, and I know there are teachers out there that agree with me. They're in a hostage situation as far as their, livelihoods go, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk on my show today too. That now that these mask mandates are fading away, even in Massachusetts, the Karens are starting to set themselves up as the victims. So I'll bet this woman that left after she had you arrested, she's gonna say, my health was endangered. I mean, that's what they're saying already.
Right, and you know what? Howie, that's the civil war of ideas that we're in right now. No, half the population doesn't believe her. Who believes that mainstream news media is the news? I mean, a kid live streaming when I walked out of the jail in Glasgow the other night. I thought, that might be the news. That might be a journalist. That kid right there with the live stream. And then the Granite Grok, Ken Ehring of Granite Grok, he got the story accurate. He, filled in the whole thing about how she shuts down meetings all the time.
Right.
And who called the police? I don't understand. Who assumed that there would be some kind of violence? Yes.
You did? How much?
I'm supposed to go on May 21st. I'm like, this is just so ridiculous. Now I got to take a day out of what I'm doing and do this, but it's fine. I actually said to Officer Porter, Sergeant Porter, I hope that through this, you guys get a clearer understanding of what to do as the police, because I can see that you're in a ridiculous position. You just arrested me for not wearing a mask. You just enforced a school policy. And it's like, to think that the police don't know this. I kept saying to David, Kiley, as he was explaining it to them, I was like, let's go. Let's just take our seats. They're bluffing, or they just have to say this. Let's go sit down. And then when the sergeant grabbed my arm and spun me around and put the handcuffs on, at first he tried to take my banner away. I had my banner, which was my teaching tool.
Jail?
Yeah, so I had my banner, which was my teaching tool, and I said, let's go. Let's just go sit down. And so I walked through to go sit down, and he grabbed my banner, which was my... we had manipulative, Howie, we had handouts. This was going to be so educational. These people hate education. They really do.
Why didn't you just say, I'm an illegal alien? Get your paws off me.
So he took my thing, and then, I grabbed I yanked my thing out of his hand, and I kept walking. And then when we got through into the auditorium, he goes, you're arrested. I said, no, we're taking our seats. I still thought that he was going to reconsider how nuts this was. And and then I felt the thing on my wrist, and one of my friends said, Kate, don't resist arrest. And I was like, wow, I'm not going to hear the speeches. I'm not going to hear anyone speak. I mean, we were clear. We had this all broken down into 3-minute pieces. We weren't going to be there to labor the point. We broke it up so that we didn't go on and on and on and on. We sort of cover all bases. We had visuals and handouts. and the Zoom, and the whatever, Kim Farias that shuts it down, and next I hear there's some girl crying who was going to do some public speaking.
This reminds me of Alice's restaurant. Remember when he gets arrested
She was unable.
on Thanksgiving Day? This is kind of ridiculous like that. And so someday that cop who arrested you, his grandkids are going to say, what was the biggest arrest you've ever made?
Oh, honestly, I can't even believe anybody cares. I mean, where the hell has the news media been the whole time? The reason that we're here talking about this insanity is because these Marxists have taken over our education system 3 generations ago. It's just, this is why I homeschooled, because I hoped that my kids could think critically and that I could expose them to just better curriculums. And, I did it for as long as I could. And then, whatever, I homeschooled for 7 years. They went to private school for another 7, and then I went through divorce and they ended up in public school. But isn't that what happens? When the funds run out or they put the screws to the economy, you can't pay twice. So why not go to the free school?
So we've been covering by Zoom meetings some of the court appearances of some people in New Hampshire. Is yours going to be in a Zoom so that we can record it and take?
I don't know. It's supposed to be. It's in Salem on the 21st.
Yeah.
In Salem, New Hampshire on the 21st. So I don't know. There's just been a bunch of chatter too. Like, is it really going to go to court? Like, who the hell wants that kind of? Do they really want that? And in which case,
we would love to live stream it, or at least get some.
And then you go,
sound.
We'll remove. How if they remove these people from the school board? It's like, at the next vote with a voting machine. Oh, this is fun. And we're over in Wyndham with the same issue. It's like, are you kidding me? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. I know some places do have recall mechanisms.
Oh yeah, are we? You think we're going to vote them out at the next election? So it's sad. And we've always suspected our votes don't matter. And I think when they really, really didn't need it to win, they always have. I just think now it's getting crazy because people are waking up. Innovation and the proliferation of information works both ways.
All right, well,
you're
listen,
spying on me, we're spying too.
We appreciate you being
with
us. Will you leave your number with Jared so we can find out how the court case goes? Because, like I said, I would love to see the prosecutor present this case to a judge.
Sure, Jared has it. He called me earlier.
Okay, he's got it. Okay, we'll be contacted. And thanks. Fight the power, as they say. Power to the people. Power to the people, right on.
We already have it. We just don't know it.
No justice, no peace. All right, Grace.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. This is the Grace Curley Show.